Okay, I think we're live. We're live. Let's hope so. Better than being dead, I guess. I just realised my light up above me is not on. Means I won't get any bright ideas. There we go. Okay, now get the bright ideas light on. Roll up the sleeves. Get ready for some work. Something a little more financially constructive than plain Diablo, I guess. But I'll probably do that again later tonight. In hidden. And I've just got to continue picking away at this machine. Oh, seriously? You're still... Yep. This is just one of those computers that is filled up with all sorts of trash, like Wondershare software and reimage repair, things like that. Stuff that makes Malwarebytes cry at night. Alright, that's not why people are here though. You aren't here to listen to me talk about fixing a machine behind me. You're here to see 1466 get repaired, or maybe just to hear me drone on. Okay, let's get this. So what's wrong with this one? Initially I couldn't log on. The screen would go black before I could enter any login details, so the screen would work in a single user mode to target disk mode. Possible, corrupted, complete, update overnight, I have, and the ticket gets cut off. It gets cut off because there's only so much information you can stick on a little ticket like that. I guess that's why I've got the full information in front of me here. It's tried most suggestions on the net, reset SMC, pre-RAM, NVRAM, battery disconnection. Can get all my target via disk mode, everything is saved. Ran Mac disk utility, reported corruption, tried to fix for disk utility, now the MacBook seems to power up, but without the screen working. Well, this may actually not be a physical fault. I mean, in terms of the motherboard, but we'll see. It may be a failing SSD. In which case I've sort of summoned you all for nothing. Oh well. Beth Keith McDermott. No, I'm not going to nuke it. I know that's standard policy, but I will not be nuking it. Overhead please, Paul. And fix up the... Come on. There we go. Did Lewis get your message? I doubt it. I should have just phoned a local number, got some poor drunk, and said it to them. It would have cost me less. Hey Magus. Gary Dutton, how's it going? Don't worry, if this ends up not being a repair job, I've got a Nintendo Switch I've got to do. So, never opened one before, so there'll be something interesting. Hey Sutter. And Teresa is already harping about the Switch. You just sit back and wait, Teresa. Okay, so we do have a Samsung drive, which doesn't bode well. So it could be one of those drives that have failed. So many of them. Wrong portion. If I'm going to fold the sticker, at least I need the QR code to be visible. What's wrong with the Switch? The Switch just simply has a power jack fault. Thing is, I've never ever done one before, so it'll be something different. I see that it is a USB-C though. Interested in fixing Liquid Damage 2018 MacBook Pro. What's going wrong with it now, Gary? I mean, is it 1706, 1708? Any idea? Do you spot corrosion on the DCM board? Nothing I'm seeing at the moment. Are we talking about the troll call? I guess so, yes. Was it a troll call that I gave Lewis, or was it just a bit of enlightenment? Hey, the inside plate of the machine looks very clean. It's a new fix, haven't got it yet. Oh, okay. Well, be interesting to see. See, is the microscope going to play ball today? Come on, play ball. Oh, crud. Yep. Tuesday behaving like a Monday. Come on, microscope. Come on, microscope, do your thing. Seriously? You power you off and power you back up. We'll see if it comes back to life. In the meantime, I'm on the hunt. Aha, there we go. The camera decided no, it didn't want to be left behind, so it decided to catch up. I'm just going to drop this. By the way, anyone in Australia got a source of 1708 decks, keyboard, complete decks? I just had to buy at least 2 so far from China, but it's taken forever to get here. But all the ones in Australia are at absurd cost. I can't really afford to. I'm basically not making enough money realistically off the repairs. That damn glitter crap, as always, somewhere around the place. Is that a burn mark through that? It certainly looks weird. Oh, camera. Seriously? Wow, it really is. I'm going to have to do a video on repairing the video camera. Hey, Warren Snam says again. I did get your email, by the way. You're going to have to ask Alita. It is not within my power to answer the question that you want answered. Well, it depends. Well, I'm using EMS. Ah, this is ridiculous. Come on. What's going on here? Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. There we go. Been a busy day, well, busy 24 hours or so now. Was I running a stream when I said that I had to capture... that almost looked like a burn mark. Where we had a cat and he was limping. And I was worried that he was starting to shiver. And I was worried he might be going septic. I don't know if I mentioned that or whether that was just in my brain. It might have been during the Diablo stream. No, it doesn't make sense actually. Hey Ed. Hey Jim Hook. Nothing on this side. Anyway, so we did capture him. He went into... He got denutted today. And he's doing very well. He's very cute. Nice, strong ginger colour. Classic sort of, ginger boy colour. And the best thing is that even though he has been born, out on the street sort of thing, he is very responsive to human interaction. So if we're not in there, he actually cries for us. Yeah. So that's a really good sign, because it means he will then, he'll bond to humans. And in the end, the limp was being caused by a bit of a wound on his foot. Fortunately, it is healing up, but I didn't want to take the chance that it would heal up on its own, particularly because he did start to get the shakes. And often when you get the shakes, that can be your last indication before things go irreversibly downhill. So that's why I was in a bit of a panic. Hey, Winfield. Jason, 2 wives ago. I picked the right one the first time. Well, or you could say that I just simply haven't grown out of this one. No, but that's not true. I picked the right one the first time. Mind you, I did have a couple of failed near attempts prior, including one almost married, but cancelled 6 weeks before the wedding. Well, that made me very popular. Yeah, I was the runaway groom. Well, at least I didn't wait until the actual day. 4th time's the charm. Yeah, let's hope so. Question, if I may. Do you know if an A46 2015 batteries... It should well be, yes. Because they are basically the same machine, I think. Yeah, 2015, 2017, they should be 165 machines, so there shouldn't be any issues there. Hey, Richard. What? I've lost my attractiveness on this tip. Let's jab it into the magnetic field a few times. Rightio. Should be good to go now. I said we should be good to go now. What is going on here? There we go. Oh, it's got a good layer of dust all along the spine. Rubbing ahead and pairing non-stop. That's unfortunate. A lot of mine do that. Sorry to hear about the outcome though. That's definitely not nice at all. Hey Pernoff, how's it going? Yeah, I saw a grant from Mythbusters. Yep, someone's got a lisp. Mythbusters, yeah, aneurysm. That is not a nice way to go. Fast, in most cases, but from what I understand, very often extraordinarily painful. I guess it depends on the specific nature. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if there's nothing wrong with this board. Yeah, it looks dusty and stuff, but I don't think there's actually... I don't think we're going to find anything. I think it's just the SSD that's collapsed. Which means I really need to go get my test adapter from upstairs. Absolutely nothing wrong with that backlight area. Clock chip might have a bit of junk on it. Hey Sam Davies. Clock chip's fine. Well, that coil's looking a little bit skew there. Huh. It happens. The parts that always amuse me, well, I should rather say distress me, are the very small diodes that you get. These diodes here, and you just can't get them to sit flat with a reasonable... It's just too hard to put a sufficiently small dot of soldered paste down. So they always keel over in one direction or the other. And it catches you out the first couple of times because you think, oh look, there's the fault, I found the fault, it's the diode, it's not quite sitting on the board properly. And you very quickly realise that that is not the case. It's just the nature of what they are. Yeah, DEFCON sort of hot charging, or bootstrapping the cells like that sometimes is needed. You gotta love the safety regulation chips that, yeah, if you drop below 2.7 or so, they're like, nope, sorry, entry not permitted back here, goodbye. And you're like, oh, I'm okay, I just took a bit of a holiday, but I'm okay. Ah, Jim, honestly, you suffered almost everything in the book at this rate. Well, let's have a look at the edge of the screen connector, just to make sure we don't have issues there. And that looks perfectly lovely. It's good soldering there. Just that damn glitter. Yeah. The scary thing is, to fix this, in terms of putting a new drive in there, is probably going to cost them more than what it would if it was a mainboard problem. Ah. Okay, so this is the drive. It's a Samsung, so they almost all die the same way. I think I will... Can I risk it? I think I will go downstairs and get the adapter board and we'll have a look and see what happens. Alright, sorry about that. It was a little bit of a delay because I had to go and check on the poor little chap who's missing a couple of extras on his body. He was crying a bit because there was no one around, so what we did is we just started playing a video of one of my previous live streams. May or may not calm him, but it might help. Alright, so plug that in. Naturally the cable is just a wee tad short. I went to the toilet. I certainly did not. Why would I do that when I can do it right here? Yeah, I bought a high quality USB 3 type cable that was a long one, and of course it's always in the wrong room. Oh wait, and on saying that, just like magic, here's one I prepared earlier. Remote cat camera required. Fortunately I won't have to, because when I'm done here I can just go into my office. That's where he is. He's in a cage, a good sized cage. So yeah, I can just go into my office and do my stuff and he'll be okay. Now I've got to find a USB 3 port that's not going to butcher everything else. It's a very, very delicate system here. It's like the rainforest. You mess with one thing and the whole rainforest just die. It's harmony. Yeah, except I can't get in this slot because it's a USB magical 3-state system, which is no, yes. What happened to DJ Crows? Hey, Microfix. DJ Crows, very sorry to hear. Suddenly got really thin and weak. Have you checked for diabetes? Is his fur getting matter? Is he hungry? Because that's what happened to Micro. Micro just started to waste away. He got weak. He was not well, and it completely threw us. And then we found out he actually had diabetes. Feline AIDS is another possibility. No diabetes, crikey. I'm sorry to hear that, DJ Craze. Really, I am. With Micro, we went through that for quite a few months, and so my full sympathies. I completely understand how that feels. I feel very blessed that we were able to find a solution. But I'll certainly extend my I understand. Defcom mentioned you in a live stream that I fixed a 2011 GPU. Mentioned you because I could find my USB test stick and ASD. Oh, possible. Life is a gift. Yeah. Yeah. Try not to think about it too much. Or hopefully they can at least find some reason. It doesn't help much, but it at least might give you a chance for some recovery. 16. Yeah. It's tough going, DJ Craze. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, I'm just gonna. Oh. 16's still young, though. That's the trouble. I hate it when they say 8-year-old cats are old. It's like, get real. I think I've broken the USB system here. I2C failure to write. Hey, you're not doing the... Yeah, I think I might have to forgo testing this because I have in fact, by the looks of it, upset the rainforest. Come on, rainforest. Maybe the cable is bad these days to my microscope camera's auto detector. Yeah, something's amiss. Ah. Okay, disconnect the... Well, what I'll do in the interim is I will plug in a known working board into this, known working drive into this board and see if it comes up. Oh, that is a pain. Major pain. Shouldn't have messed with the rainforest. Okay, what else can we break now? Okay, microscope switches back. Is that a... Am I hearing bullshit noise from next door? God's sake. Hey Andrew Pearce, well, we've got a stray one that we captured the other night, last night, that I was worried about having suffering possible septicemia. But seems not to be the case. He did have a wound on him, and it was making him a bit icky. But we have resolved that, and he now is missing 2 extra little pieces of his body. And we'll probably be able to rehome this one. Okay, let's throw this into a... So we're just going to see if this known working SSD behaves properly. If it does, then we know that it's a failing SSD from the original. And if that's the case, we could buy a second-hand one. We could try and find one of the earlier edition ones, the ones that aren't the Toshibas that just die. And yeah, so we could do that, but what I'll probably do is get a Transcend jet drive and put that in. Not sure what size this one was. Now I know you can get adapters for these, so you can use existing NVMe drives or whatever, but honestly I prefer to just get the person to buy the Transcend ones, because they do work properly. You've got to be kidding me. Ow. Any idea what I did with the Crossflex? I can't seem to see it anywhere. It was definitely not down there. Where did the Crossflex go? It's not that one. That's a 1502. Is it under here? Magic. Haha. Even I don't know where it is. It's not good when that happens. So, whoops, lost my assistant. Don't know where Debbie McGee is anymore. Alright. General purpose test drive. We'll just leave that in there. Make sure I didn't drop it in here. I got this one the other day. This is a NVMe. That's I think it's the B key one. The latest sort of ones. What's this? What are you? Oh, this is a good quality one. It's a 128. What size is this person's one? 128. So, like, if I had to go second hand, I would use this one. It's the slightly slower model, but it's the good quality one. Well, when I say good quality, I mean the one that works. Oh, I've actually got a lot more of these drives than I expected. Ah, and I got this really neat adapter for 1708 drives. I have to try that out sometime. Another 128. Oh, it's got high Sierra test value in it. I'll stick that in there. Yeah, I've got a few adapters, I know. But all of this is moot unless I can find that cross-flex. Oh, I guess I'll temporarily steal another one. Could you make your own cables? Not likely. That phase of life is not something. Well, I don't think anyone looks forward to it. But we're still a good decade away from it. But once it starts happening, it's going to go on for quite a while because all our cats are sort of staged in age. So yeah, that's going to be a long period of hurt. It's the downside of outliving those creatures that you love. Try and move on to a slightly more lifting topic. Not that I want to shut it down, but you know what I mean. So, okay, let's see. I didn't put my chipmunk in. Alright, the screen is not energizing. Alright, that's interesting. Got a PCH failure here. Yeah, something ain't smelling right here. Not literally. But, yeah, not liking the gist of this. Let's move this camera back a bit. Okay, so we've got our chipmunk. I'll plug it in. Everything seems hunky-dory. We get the boot. But then, I don't think we get green light. And we're stuck at 900 milliamps, so we're stuck at almost 1 amp. That's too high. We should be around about 400, maybe 600 at the most. So something here is chewing up power that it shouldn't. Now, it could be the keyboard, could be any number of things. But yeah, that is too high. Okay, so what we do is we disconnect everything. I should check the PCH, but I'm going to just disconnect everything first. Confirm that we can at least get a boot. If we do, then yeah, if we get the green blinks, then we know we've got some hope. If we still don't get green blinks, then we'll bring out the infrared camera. Joseph, I've got no recommendations, but hopefully someone else can give you some idea. 970, 980, yeah, this is chewing too much power. That is like it's locked. It's like it's locked in a state that it can't get out of. That CPU is very hot. Okay, let's take it off and see what's underneath. Wi-Fi. You think it could be Wi-Fi? The CPU was... Wi-Fi is cold. Hey, what? Yeah, well, I may as well just visually check the PCH and CPU. Initial visual check says it's okay. Tariq, if you're here, then you're going to be told to buy a copy of Flex Boardview. And if you're only just doing it for personal reasons, then get yourself a copy of Open Boardview. That CPU is very toasty hot. Which means it could easily be a bad CPU still. We'll check the resistance. Unfortunately, because my good multimeter has not arrived yet, well, I should say my better multimeter, I can't do a 4-wire test, which would have given us a much better indication, unless this is blatantly bad. 6.7, yeah, it's not blatantly bad. Andrew. You confuse people, Andrew. $7.3. Yeah, that's not too bad. Where's Pernov? Changed any other links lately, Paul? Not that I'm aware of. I still don't know what I have done with that crossflex. That is going to knock the living daylights out of me. I mean, where the heck does it go? Like, is it on my belt? Do I have to strip off and check? I think that's a little extreme, even for me. I'll try a different DC inboard. I mean, I have my doubts that that would be a culprit, but I've got to try everything. And yes, I know you're not supposed to put the heatsink back down on the paste because it doesn't really make a proper connection, but this is just for trivial testing processes. Is it under the board? Yeah, that might actually be the case, although normally let me get the heatsink back on before I do anything more stupid than what I'm doing now. I don't see it. No. And normally that would force it to jump up a fair bit. Alright, let's just take this thing out. It's a sufficiently serious fault that it warrants being taken out. G'day Any555. Been about a month and a half or so since I think I've seen you. How you been? You been busy? Deliberately avoiding us? Is that what is going on? Don't like us anymore? We're hurt. What I'm curious about is, does the bad SSD play into this at all? And is it actually in fact bad, or is it something else completely that I've missed? Okay, this is my bang bung crap fest DCM board, so I can't use that. It's not even the right one. Okay, 18 volts, 5, yep, that's all good. Let's try again. 1 amp. Man, they're really jumping out. So back out to work. They lifted the restrictions. Oh, so you got a lot of catching up to do. Oops. Yep. Stop the fan, I broke it. What bothers me here is that the CPU is getting quite hot, but we will put the thermal camera on this and see if it shows anything else coming up. I have my doubts, but you never know. And the other thing is, it's not really what I'd call short material, like 900 milliamps. Just it's not really up there high enough. If you're going to get a short, you usually get nearly zero current drawing, only because of the fact that the protection circuitry kicks in, or you get like overcurrent protection kicking in on the power supply. Anyway, let's plug in our USB-C there, because I have not had a chance to plug this in a while. Okay, did I disconnect this? God help me if I did. No. Good and Blues, g'day. How's it going? I take it obviously, well, you're from the RFS as well. The same place as you, Jim? Let's see. Okay, camera is alive. Let's switch over to infrared. There we go. Okay, let's power it up and see what happens. Yep, Gordon's now going to be all shy. He's going to be like, yeah, I didn't need the exposure, thanks. Let's see if anything warms up. Okay, CPU naturally warms up, and it is going to town. And the heat pipe's doing its job. So that's what's throwing me, is that it is behaving in that respect. So it's in some kind of lock state. The alignment's not quite right on this. We're off a little bit. Okay. Now you're probably wondering what this is down here. I think it's just a reflection. Yeah, it's just a reflection. We'll have a look at the other side too. We'll just go all the way down the end of the board. Okay, we do have a bit of a heat up here. This is a nice thing about, you take the CPU and you get a relative. It's not hot, but perhaps that is warmer than it needs to be. When you pulled off the ribbon, you placed it on the battery of the case. Last showed up, you were moving the case. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm looking down where I've got the case and everything else. It's not there. It's honestly, it's just, it's magic. Yeah. Worst case scenario, I have to buy another one. Oh, well. Yeah, Q's. You can thank Jim Hook for that. Jim made the big investment. You took it with you when you left the room, possibly. Jack Hoffman, do many people out there via the internet live stream their bench repairs the way you do? Kudos to you, because doing your live stream you've been open and transparent. Yeah, I mean, you get people like Lewis Rossman, Tim Herman, Chris Long when he was still doing stuff. Yeah. Are there any MacBook parts you need? 1708s. You got any chassis for those? Decks, working decks? Anyway, I'll need to quickly have a look and see. But yeah, I mean, I'm always looking out for parts, to be honest. Always looking out for parts. Okay. Okay, this is a 165 board. I'm just going to... We are just going to jump to the schematic. And the part that is getting warm is this thing here, U4500. Okay, and you're the SD controller, so that is a little strange that that would be getting warm. It's not really actually that warm at all, it's all relative. So we'll go back to the infrared. We're going to flip it over and see if we can see anything. Yep, complete with fan running, because we are a lunatic. Okay, just, whoops. Just trying to get the board alignment. Okay, we're good. So there is this, but I'm pretty sure that's a reflection. What we also do have, I keep putting down my plastic spudger, is that there. Okay, what are you? I'm pretty sure you're the ISL. Yep, that's U7100. Slide along, see if anything else jumps up out of place. Okay, that's normal, that's CPU. And that's heat pipe, so the only things we've got is the ISL, and that's relative, and the SD. Other than that, we've got nothing. Okay. Fan's going like bonkers. Well, that's to be expected because the CPU is getting hot. Just curious where you find 1466 screens nowadays. I don't really get them. Hey, pal. I will maybe get them. Most of the time I try to salvage. So, you know, get them some existing machines. I do sometimes feel like that Johnny Depp book collector character out of Ninth Gate or whatever it was, scamming innocent people out of their MacBooks. But, you know, I used to feel bad about that, but then Pedro came along, and Pedro just redefined the levels of low that you can go with that sort of scamming. Have you tried LabVIEW? No. So why would this get upset? Just seeing if there's anything. That's essentially pristine. They're all so pristine. Well, we got ourselves a tricky one. And here I was thinking it was just going to be the SSD. Could still be a dead CPU. So what we're going to do is we'll get a known working 165 and we'll have a look at that. Thunderbolt problems, quite possibly. Hey Barry. As I still cannot find... Wait. I found it. Okay, when I put it down on the ground, it's like that. But it seems Magic, see? You think it's magic, but it's actually a trick. Alright. Thank goodness for that. My sanity slightly restored. Hey, Nimara, how's it going? Good to see you still with us. You guys been put back in the lockdown yet? Hey, Keith Windsor, PE as in Port Elizabeth? Or am I getting that wrong? And I have a feeling I'm going to be corrected yet again. Did you manage? Wayne, I did get Odin running, but unfortunately it didn't solve the problem. It looks like it's a user space problem. And so even when I reflashed it, and it did successfully reflash for that matter, it did not successfully, it didn't stop the boot loop. It's still boot looping. So it goes through the whole applications thing, loops again. Customer really wants their data, but I really don't know. I don't think I've got any options at this point now. Johnny Depp, the ninth gate. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Yep. Oh, damn it. Why have I not got a 165 board? I've got 34 37s coming out of the wazoo. Where's my 165 boards? No. Okay, I've got to have a 165 in here. No self-respecting MacBook person does not have a 165 working board somewhere. That's kind of like the... Well, it's kind of like the antithesis of being a MacBook person. If you had debug mode enabled, you should be able to sideload and pull data. I believe it's encrypted, Andrew. So I'd have to actually get root and then load... yes, I can load a non-signed thingamajig. Yeah, anyway, that's what someone's been telling me. Oh, damn it. Seriously? I'm ashamed to be who I am right now, not having a 165 handy. Surely I haven't given them all away. I mean, not given them away, but used them. Let's see if I've got any working ones in the slots. Are you kidding me? All my 1466s have been processed. The universe does not like me. And wow, I'm impressed. It makes me think I'm going to have to go out tomorrow and go buy myself some more 165 boards just for the heck of it. What about under here? Come on, I've got to have one. I'm almost certain I do. Oh yeah, here we go. Ta-da! I'm not such a loser after all. Only just a small-time loser. Okay. Hey, John Finn. Barry West, we found it. It's on the underside of the back plate. It's stuck there with its little adhesive thing. Let's see. What am I going to do with this? What do I want to do with this? First thing I want to do is test the CPU resistance. Now, the only trouble is I don't know which CPU this has got, but hopefully you can get within the range. The problem with Android is that you need to unlock the bootloader to be able to flash recover, but doing so will erase the user data. Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm kind of worried that this person basically no longer is going to have any data. I managed to at least get their photos. Okay, so this is 12.2. Hey, Suda. Okay, so that's 12.2. This is 7. Now I know that seems like a big difference, but then we don't know. So what is this? This is a 1.88 gig. I have a feeling this is a 2 gigahertz one. I'll plug this in and find out. So it's not the same CPU, so that's unfortunate. Do you ever find creepy crawly things dead alive in any... Oh, yeah, all the time. Yep, all the time. Wayne, what if I just send it to you and you can fix it? And you can get the data off and just charge me for it. The only thing we need to get off this is the contact list, and I know what you're going to think. It should be on the synchronized to Google, but it never happened. So I've checked. The TWRP, I think I can't load that because it's not signed for that device, so I unfortunately don't think I can get it. Send it. I have Z3 box. I can get it off with that. Okay, Wayne, can you send me an email just to remind me of that? Can you send that right now? And then when I'm finished with this, I'll send you the details. And send me a cost as well, so I can just at least be upfront with the customer and see if they feel like it's worth it. By the way, this is my 165 board, okay? So don't get excited. Speaking of backs, oh yeah, the fly zapper's got a full-time job in the kitchen. Full-time job in the kitchen. This is actually going very slow. I think pretty much every week I have to clear out that bottom tray. It's that bad. Yeah, it's... Scratch your nose. I need to also... These lights up here, I need to reposition them or diffuse them. DJ Craze, I had one machine a long time ago and it had German roaches in it. And they actually took over this entire room and it was quite a fight to get rid of them. Thank you, Dwayne. I really appreciate that. I basically told the person there really isn't much hope, so yeah. Hey, someone... Teresa, thank you very much for that PayPal transaction, by the way. I really would not expect you to do that, but I'm definitely very thankful for you to do that. But thank you very much. Teresa just helped out for a full round of Micro's insulin. And by the way, I've got a insulin... What do you call it? Little insulin refrigerator coming, so that ideally we should be able to get full 250 days of doses out of 1 ampule. But at the moment I have to discard it after usually 6 weeks. Wow, this has taken way too long. I don't know what's wrong with this board. Can you put diffusers on? Probably wouldn't bother. If I'm going to do that, I may as well just get proper panels, illuminating panels. Oh, Pernov, 7 ohms on the CPU for this 165. This is... What is this? It's a 1.8 gigahertz 165 and I've got 7 ohms on the CPU and it draws 900 milliamps, and we get SO state and everything gets up and running, but it doesn't actually run the CPU. I'm wondering whether in fact 7 ohms is a dead value for that particular one. Move the lights left and right. Well, it's going to be tricky because they're 1.2, 4 foot long. And if I move them over to that side by enough that they're not going to show on the screen, then I'm losing the effect of my lights. And if I take them behind me, then I start shadow casting. So CPU was up. I did it when it was cold though, but well, I don't know what's wrong with this. That board's got its own issues. Yeah, might have to put that one back in the queue. Oh, that hurt. Okay, so Pernov, this is room temperature now. You watch, it's going to be 12 or something like that. And then Pernov's going to spend the rest of his day laughing. Okay, so we're 10. Yeah, just on 10. And that's been sitting on the side for quite a while. Wait a second. 13, 19, 18, 17. Okay, what's going on here? I got a bad ground. I must have had a bad ground. Okay, so 9, 9. 9, 9. Okay, so we'll call it 10. Oh, Teresa, I do sincerely appreciate that. I have to send you some more equipment. Yeah, really not sure what to think about this one. It's a clean board, which of course is a tech's worst nightmare. DMM's frozen, quite likely. Yeah, it really has. Oh no. Okay, it's good. Anyway, that was 10 ohms for the CPU on this. That should be fun, yeah. So I'm going to find out what's causing it to mostly run, but not completely run. That's always fun. It's like it's been held up in some kind of part of its sequence. What is interesting is that it pretty much goes 900 straight away. Or does it? Yeah, straight away. As soon as it comes up, it's up there. Now the only thing that got warm was that with the SD, but yeah, and the ISL. Check vCore. Why do I always forget these fundamental things, really? Why am I even a tech? I don't remember anything. One of these days I'm going to forget why we call it a pentalobe. Yeah, 1.8 for the CPU. Let's check what our PP bus is. 856, yep, on the mark. 342 is fractionally high, but not horribly high. Flash issue could be. Okay, DJ Craze. I hope good luck for your kitty. Okay, really. And Jason, enjoy the walk. Otherwise, the EFI issue. Yeah. Interesting that it just stays there. So you might actually be right about the EFI. I'll check around. See if there's issues with the I2C lines or something. Hey Gabrielle. Hey Steve K. I mean, look at that. That's just pretty much pristine. It hurts when they look this clean. The only teeny tiny thing we had... That's interesting. Why has that got a void on it there? Anyway. The only teeny tiny thing we had was this. What does that chip do? By the way, Teresa, it was just lucky that I happened to look up at the email to spot that. I've really got to spend half a day on that PayPal notification system because I think everyone would appreciate it if they could see the notifications come through. It doesn't even come up on my phone, so it's like PayPal over here, and it didn't even highlight. How disappointing. Yeah, odd scorch mark. And I believe that's a MOS Q7010. Yeah, see, that doesn't make a huge amount of sense because that's... Yeah, nothing's making sense here. Well, I should rather say nothing is making sense until you find the fault and then you go, oh, of course, that makes all the sense in the world. Okay, 10... 4 point... Wait. Okay, I'm going to assume that's just my meter being a bit... That really shouldn't actually matter because... Actually, no, 4.7 would be right because it's about 0.2 in the leads. So, and for some reason, multimeters, these digital multimeters do not let you do this, which is you take your multimeter, you cross the tips, and then you hit the 0 button. And for some reason, these meters do not have that. Something diabolical, yes, quite possibly. Do you get offended by Lewis occasionally slightly trolling your software? Simeon, it depends. If it gets a little rampant with it, then yeah, I start to twitch in the eye a little bit. But I restrain myself because ultimately he does come around to realizing the error in his ways, and then he posts a very beneficial apology type video, and away I go again. Okay, that's weird. This one also has that mark. Is that just the pin 1 indicator, I think? I think that's all that is. Pin 1 indicator. It's just a really weird way of doing it. It's like the plastic. They obviously use a laser, but it's like the plastic doesn't respond too kindly to it. Was the machine always chiming occasionally? It progressively sort of failed from a normal boot and then down into secure mode boot or safe boot and so on and so forth. So it sort of degenerated. There's a bit of snot and balls down there. But fortunately, Simeon, I mean, I trust Lewis well enough, and to be honest, I really wouldn't have anywhere near the level of success that I am having currently if it wasn't for the way that he does. He uses my software, so what more can a man ask for? There's small chips out of there, but that's not what we're really looking for. If that sort of stuff was shorted out, you'd know because it would have come up in the infrared. It can't be the DCM board, it can't be the crossover flex because we're using entirely different ones. Well, Unimar, I was thinking the same thing. It could have been software, which is why initially I just thought, well, it's going to be the SSD. But then the fact that it doesn't even green blink for us as a bare board, it's sort of like, well, that's not much chop. Was wondering if it was like not always posting correctly. It could well be not always posting correctly, so maybe we should have a shot at just replacing the BIOS chip or EFI chip and seeing if it does come up. If it does come up, then we know we're onto something. Namely that we either, well, so we'll just swap that out with the test 165 board chip. And if it goes, well then great. If it doesn't, no loss. NVRAM reset. It already has had those sort of things done, so that's already been eliminated in the early stages. NVRAM, PRAM, all of that sort of stuff. Could be an internal. Oh, don't say that. What are you, like the anti-cheerleader crew? Internal board, sure. Come on. Yeah, I've been trolled by something, that's for sure. Wait, I just spotted this. There we go. That's an important one. Yeah, that is SMC P-Bus vSense. That'll do it. Yep. When that goes, nothing goes. Did someone say something about that on my pinky? Well, I can only hope it's that. We'll find out. So, Unimara, you going to start your own repair workshops out there? You guys need any equipment? I don't have much, but any sort of equipment that I stop using myself all the time, I tend to just hand out to people I feel who can make use of it. Mind you, wonder if you can get a grant or something. Then again, maybe not interested in any of that. Got enough issues to deal with. Good health clinic would probably go a long way. Hell, all of us could do with a good health clinic. Well, I guess we'll see what sort of state that resistor is in, what's underneath it, Pure North. If it's only intermittently connecting, then that would cause it. Ah, my glasses, my precious glasses. Too busy with language work. That's true, I forgot. Well, didn't forget, but I suppose we do all have our roles to play. And that's a particularly special resistor. It's a divider 24/7. Huh. Yeah, you remember that one. You remember that one every day of the week. People were going, what? Don't get the joke. It's 24/7. Hey, welcome back, Travis. Oh, Rick Fundermark's here. Yeah, that's right, Corey. It was 340. What was it? 345 or 346 or something like that. So yeah, it was fractionally high, and I wasn't sure whether it was just a case of, maybe the meter was feeling a bit bad today. Maybe the meter knows that it's going to get replaced sometime. I actually had to call up Farnell, not Farnell, Element 14. And ask them, like, where the heck's my meter? Because they've taken the money out of my account, about 12 days ago now, and the order still hasn't been fulfilled. Like in the actual, at the warehouse, they still haven't actually packed it. And I was like, where is it? Normally you guys, you take the money out of my account and then within 36 hours you've packed it and ready to send it to me, but you haven't this time, so what's going on? So they just said to me, the usual COVID-19 stuff, so I was like, oh, whatever. Buy a pair of specs and, yep, pretty much have to. We'll see how I go when I get it, Barry. It's going to be exciting to have it on hand. It's going to be exciting to write the software for it. To be fair, it's probably going to look pretty much the same as what I've already got. But the amusing part is it'll be based on the power supply software instead of the existing multimeter software. Alright, let's see how we go for that. Come on, give us a green light. See what our 342 is while we're at it. Still running high on 342. It's only 20 millivolts high, but it's a little weird. Pound wins again. Don't like you, Pound. Damn. May as well leave the fan off. It's just getting in the way. Alright, well, on the one hand, at least, by finding that small spot of corrosion, it has made me think, okay, maybe there is another dodgy part around here. Okay, as Pernov said, it could be the SMC potentially. Let us pray and hope that it's not, even though I'm not a religious man, but well, it's always convenient to fall back on saying things like that. Still weird that it's just pulling that 1 amp. Hey Tony W. Yeah, Corey, I wouldn't say wonderfully, I'd usually say woefully, but yeah, correct. Okay, I'm just dropping my seat down as we go to edge crotch cam here. Still can't get over that. I really don't want to do an SMC. I'm just not in the mood for it. That's when I get told, well, you're in the mood to starve, because if you don't work, you're going to starve. The point of doing the edge viewing is that you can often see corrosion on the legs a lot easier. Or if you had corrosion sneaking under the balls, or just slide under the chip, things like that. Like these sort of 6-ball blue chips, you can often get bits of corrosion under them. The other popular one is, where are you? This one here. I think it'd be very rude and unfair if the SMC did get corrosion under it. The upside is, though, if it's been progressively failing, then perhaps I can get away with at least getting a indication that it really is that fault by reflowing it. As opposed to going through all that work and only to find that, nope, it wasn't that. You can buy a 3D camera, save me the belt. Yeah, well, I can also just buy someone to do this for me and save me doing any of it. Get one of those cameras that they use for those movies where they've got a miniature landscape and yeah, they just have a flyover camera, make you think that it's full size and all that sort of stuff. I think they used it a fair bit in Star Wars. I do wonder why this chip is heating up though. So why would the SD chip heat up? I don't understand that. I could have understood it if there was junk in here, but honestly, this is a very clean looking port. A filter on the same rail. What? How's the Bluetooth keyboard troubles going? I can't remember what you're referring to, Christian. Or are you talking? Oh, you're talking to someone else. Right, gotcha. Yeah, Corey, clean boards are just a nightmare. Alright, let's give the SMC a little bit of a reflow and a nudge and see if we get a behavioral change. The only thing is, if the extra... no, I'm just not going to bother speculating. I'll just do it. Voltmeter, the in and out, the SMC, it's not... Oops. The SMC is not actually the item getting warm or anything. There's only two items getting warm aside from the CPU, and that was the ISL and the SD controller. Uh-oh. Okay, Sam Davis, thanks for dropping in. Appreciate that. Always appreciate people dropping in to say hello, spend some time in here, watch me struggle. Dead SD controller, possibly. I mean, it wasn't that warm, but anyway. Yeah, I mean, it could. I hate it when my voice just jumps out like that. It could be something holding down one of the I2C lines or something, or enable, or an all good line. Yeah, could be so many things. Anyway, we'll just give this a bit of a rinse. I'm getting to the point where I really should get myself a spare hot air station as well. Just in case one of them decides to drop dead. Yeah, I will do that, Farnell. Just cooling off this board. Ever since fixing my MacBook, I want to pull apart everything I can. Yeah, I don't know why Pedro's not here, but he's really got it bad. He's driving around the countryside, picking up broken MacBooks. And if the MacBook works, he's disappointed and goes out looking for more. Hey, Mr. Mech85, welcome. Yeah, Warren Stamps, that's good advice. Plenty of times I do that myself. Which is why I would like to get, superior overhead camera. The microscope is fine, but the overhead could certainly be improved. Yes, here we go. Straight up to that 1 amp. It's dancing a little more this time though. No, settle straight back to 9. Pedro was listening. Haha, there he is. Yeah. It's just weird that it makes the CPU. Yeah, well, we'll get my other 165 board, see if it heats up on that area that I was talking about. At least, fortunately, it's on the top side here. So I can just put the infrared camera straight over and no need to take a board out. Oops. Okie dokie. So we've got the board in a similar enough position. We're going to see if this spot here gets warm. What are you bonging for? Your lid's closed. Okay, and yes, it is getting warm, so yeah, we don't have anything unusual there. It's not that. Yeah, Warren, you're right about that. Yes, it doesn't have the normal sort of pause, so maybe the SMC is the legit fault, and it's just blindly agreeing to do whatever it's not meant to be doing. Could also be the ISL, I guess. Hmm. Turn off. This is a genuine MagSafe cable, though. I would have thought that would still induce the time delay. Faulty disk. Sounds legit. What temperature is it? I don't yet have the temperature readout on my software. It's all relative. Oh man. Alright, let's have another look around. I'll take the CPU back off, the heatsink. Why does this one have to turn to a rabbit hole? I didn't ask for this. It wasn't very warm, to be honest. It was more like maybe 38, barely. Yeah, about 38 would have been about right. Maybe I've got a shorted or partially shorted cap. Sometimes that happens along these ones here. It can be a right pain to find them too. Like you start focusing on crazy little things like, yeah, this little line here, and thinking that's it, but it's not. And the behavior would be different anyway. I don't want to do the SMC. Don't make me do the SMC. What is that junk there? Yeah, I think I'll do the SPI ROM first, Pernov, before anything else. At least it's not a nightmare to put a replacement on. Actually, that does not make any sense. Oh, yes, it does. There we go. What happens with OBS is if the window is off screen or it's been occluded by something else, then it does that flickery crap. Yeah, we're just going to try the SPI ROM. Ooh, I got paid money in my bank account. Unfortunately, it's money from a job today on an iPhone 8 that was so beaten up, it had liquid damage in it, that I messaged the person. I said, well, your screen's okay now, but I would back up your phone ASAP. And then about 5 or 6 hours later, they message me and say, the screen touch is misbehaving now. I'm like, yeah, here we go. Anyway, so I'll get a... Oh, I forgot the lung saver. Normally I use the refurb screens, but for this I will get a HO5 or one of those good but not original types and see if that makes any difference, but I'm pretty sure it's the liquid damage in their phone. I do keep coming back to that 342 value being just slightly high. There's something suspicious about that. Yeah, Wayne, unfortunately I didn't get an option in this case because it wasn't until I opened it and started working on it that I found the liquid damage, and it was... And I was like, ah, crap, here we go again. Anyway, so it wasn't a repair for liquid damage, and I said to him, I said, yeah, it's got damage. It's not going to probably last, but you want me to keep going with it? And they, yeah. And they even asked me now how much for a replacement battery, because that was also dodgy. So I'm probably disinclined to... What I'll do is I will test it with a test screen when I get it back and see if it misbehaves. I'm strongly suspecting it will. And then the fight will begin for them getting a refund. Because it's just one of those bad things where you don't know the damage until you've committed to the repair sort of thing. Anyway, I probably just should have shut them down outright and said, look, no, I'm just not going to do this. Wow, that's warm. Yeah, they always do come back. I mean, when it comes to data recovery, I never... If it's liquid damage, well, basically I just never repair a data recovery phone for the purpose of reusing again. But we've got different behaviour now. Very different behaviour. That didn't even last. Okay. So it powers up and then shuts down. That's different. Goes up to 900, then shuts down. This is starting to feel like an internal board fault. I hope I'm wrong, but it's feeling that way. Okay, I'll check all the resistors around the BIOS. Have you ever had a job that's not worth repairing but customers still want you to repair it? Well, the iPhone today. Yep. Yeah, phones don't turn into rabbit holes, they are rabbit holes. Okay. Comes up and immediately shuts down. Could have that been a dud 165 BIOS perhaps? Let's just find another one, just in case. Yeah, I'll have a look at the RTC as well. 3437 Y 165 shorter PCH RTC. Oh yeah, I remember that one. It's a sad, sad day, that one. .165 with a BIOS. Now, Poundov, I'm thinking the same, so I'm just going to swap it out anyway, just in case. The reason why I am thinking the same is because when I took that BIOS off the donor board, it kind of felt like it was actually leaded solder. Oh man, that suction effect from the large... Wow, maybe I won't use that one. That one looks like it's done a few tours of Afghanistan. Well, you're not the world's best, but you're a little bit better. JK Electricals, a home with pneumonia, recovering at home. Oh wow, not a good time in the world to be suffering things like pneumonia. Any idea what brought that on, or was it just... guess you don't. Gabriel, no, I use well, at least here in Australia, we have at one of my suppliers, we have a substance called, I've forgotten. But it's a proper ultrasonic cleaning fluid that you mix in. Ambicil, that's it. It's made by Ambicil. Well, Warren, it wasn't cold, but it certainly wasn't any warmer than what I'd normally do that sort of test. It was within the limits of what I would consider acceptable testing temperatures. Hey, what's that? Here I was thinking it might have been a miracle burn track. It wasn't. Hey Clay Freeman, how's it going? Def Fum, you're probably gonna have to wait until tomorrow. And even maybe longer than that. Why can't we just get simple faults like corrosion on the clock resistors? I miss those. They were superb money makers. Come in, fixed, 10 minutes, out the door. Hey 3X. Oh wait, you were here before. Alright, let's try again. Man, this is what I get for thinking it was going to be an easy one. Nope, same thing. Okay. I'm kind of curious, if we put the original BIOS back on, will we get the same fault? Okay, what's also interesting is that kind of behavior is more like a short, where it sort of will come up and get shut down. So, let's see, where's the ISL on this in comparison to the... Oh, well, completely opposite side of the board. So I'm going to put the original BIOS back on now, because I don't like to have these chips floating around away from their proper home. Oh, Pernov, it's driving me a little bit crazy. What basically is happening is that there are other businesses which have they've got direct access to customers, like the actual retail walk-in, my computer's broken, can you fix it customers. Whereas I am predominantly business to business. So as a consequence, I tend to get the ones that, well, haven't been able to be solved to date, usually. Or, it's not always. I mean, this obviously hadn't been worked on before, so I am the first person on it. But statistically, it just seems like I keep running into the difficulties. I guess that's the universe's way of saying, congratulations, Paul, you've leveled up in tech repair. You now take extra damage, and your weapons can't make up for it. You should have stayed a noob, should have stayed a low level, and then you could have lost your BIOS chip off the edge of the desk. That's not a good thing to do. My Intel notebook isn't working anymore. My local tech told me the chipset died. Is it recoverable or full dead? That's a question for Pernov. The chipset died. There could be a multitude of things. Again, Pernov. You know, Yamara, I would actually love it more if society in general behaved more like we are right now, as a general rule, in terms of trying to social distance and not having social expectations of having to hug and kiss and shake people or whatever. Because when you think about it, how many thousands of people die every year from influenza, which is entirely preventable, but we've never been able to get the social momentum behind trying to protect people from that, because it's just like, you get the flu, old people die from it, that sort of thing. But it'd be nice if there was a more acceptance of like, okay, alright, so that just did exactly the same behavior. Right, so something's changed since we did that. Do we have a bad resistor around there or what? I mean, to be fair, I am, for me, I've just been living the isolated life anyway, so it's really not much different. And the best thing is that more people, all services are being focused now towards isolation type things. Can we have a TPS? What's on the other side of this? The J tag. And these caps. and 342. 342 is a little bit far from it though. You know, I don't personally subscribe to this behavior, but I am going to remove this J tag just this once. Okay, Defon, well, I'll perhaps put it in the title whether this is a success or not. No, I don't murder them, I just relocate them. Well, Peter Ellens, I mean, yeah, it's not so much that full isolation, I just mean, you know, people could be a little more respectful. Like I'd say the biggest complaint that we had every single year when the flu season starts is how businesses will penalise their staff for the staff trying to do the right thing. That is, stay at home if you're sick. You know, even if you feel like you're just a little bit sick, well, stay at home. Don't spread that stuff around. Just that sort of behaviour. Whereas if the staff try to do that, particularly with the inclination towards casual labour and, you know, casual hire and all that, the staff get penalised. You know, they don't. There's nothing to incentivise them to stay at home. So all that happens is you get these people who shouldn't be at work, sitting in the checkout lines or whatever, doing their job, and spreading around everything. That's the sort of thing I want to see changed. Is if you're trying to be a responsible person, say, look, I am not well, I should not be out at work, spreading my germies around. Heck, they should be given a payment for that. Mind you, you know that's going to get exploited pretty damn quick if that happened. Hey Cam, how's it going? Alright, let's see. So here we go. JTAG repelled. Nope, that didn't do it. I'm just looking at the current 31. That's a pretty weird number to have. 300. 31 milliamp. Don't even know what to think of 31 milliamp. Hey Tony, well, yeah, I do fear that, but I'm hoping that maybe if businesses shift enough to the new style of dealing with, you know, getting around the situation that we have, if we have it for long enough, that people will actually get used to it and find it preferable, and then that will sort of maintain the momentum and staying with what we've got. Should we go look at the same line where the resistor was bad? Maybe. There. Did you see the new line of parts MS released? Yeah, Microsoft or yeah, some other company? MS. Try SMC bypass, maybe. Yeah, I suppose I could try that. Is there any way I can do that actually without putting it back into the keyboard? I guess I'll probably just have to do it in the chassis. I suppose I could probe point. Just hold it down for 10 seconds or so. Golden solder resistor? What? No, it wasn't that it was loose in that case, I don't think. I mean, it might have been, but I don't think it was. I think what it is just that tip from the Hakko has enough power in it to basically move that resistor very quickly. Because it was leaded as well. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, it didn't change anything. ISL maybe? Thanks, Gary. Thank you. You can sense my sarcasm kind of. Charge and current sensing, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, maybe ISL. Let's have a look at the resistor values for that. Let's see if we get our usual suspect values. Go through the rails. Well, I will now, but first I'm still just want to just probe around. But we certainly didn't have a reason to before, because we were getting into, okay, 20 is good. Yeah, I know, I should check right up the ISL. 3.5, that's fine too. Is anything here damaged? No, it's just a bit junk. Yep, that's fine. Hey, Richard Moore. Well, thank you very much for that. To the kitty and ice cream container. We actually got very lucky today with the dissexing too, because it's actually a neuter and release process that we're doing. Like, we're not actually keeping the cat ourselves. So it's a neuter and release process, and subsequently the vet does it, at least here. There's a program supporting them doing that, and they get subsidized, so it doesn't cost us anything. Because basically all we are technically doing is bringing the animal to them for them to do the neuter and release. And I suppose we just manage the animal. That's about it. Current sense resistor is okay, or at least seems to be. I'll put a knife blade across all the pins on the ISL and see if that changes anything. Come on. Oh man, I was hoping to just have a quick easy at the 1466. Might be a quick easy. I should have known better though. It's a 00165, so it's always got a trick up its sleeve somewhere. Teresa, that's just the universe, isn't it? Like I said, we were fully prepared to pay for the medical expenses for this kitty, so it was a nice bonus that we didn't have to, especially considering we just had to do all the insulin. Mind you, yeah, we pay for the insulin gladly, so that we have micro chipset IO stricken. Yeah, leave a short on there, Paul. That will help, definitely. Nothing like a short circuit to make the day a little more interesting. Okay, there's not enough heat getting in there. That's better. Well, Barry, the trouble is, whatever's causing this theoretically caused the original fault. It's kind of weird that it changed so dramatically. Anyway, I'm just going around and sort of like ticking off the usual suspects at this point. And then when I'm done with that, I'll actually start using my brain. No. I wonder what the CPU resistance is like now. Okay, that's fine. Let's see if we even get 32 kilohertz out of that clock chip. Not sure if we'll actually get it running because it might not be in that state. Yeah, we've got 32, so that's fine. We've got 3v3 RTC. Oops, that's a frequency, you moron. Yeah, I got 3v3. I have a feeling when and if we find this, that we'll find that 342 goes back to 342. Mind you, it's pretty damn close now. 343. That's within it. That's within margin. Okay, let's see what rail we're stopping at. So to do that, thankfully with the 165, at least I got everything set up. Let's see. $8.53. I'm just kind of curious, Pernov, to see where it is stopped at the moment. So back down to S5. Ow. Okay, we already know G3 hot. RTC we know. 5v5 S5. Damn it. Yeah, okay. Christian, a thing called Imgui, or Conut, I think his name is, produces it. It's on GitHub. Yeah, so basically we don't get 5v5 S4 R3. Hey Imran. Hmm. No fix yet. Okay, that was interesting. Maybe not incredibly interesting, but it was slightly interesting. Okay, no, it actually probably makes sense come to think of it. What I was just about to do. Yeah, so we lose 5 volt and power. So 5 volt does get sequentially shut down. So why are we losing that? Well, let's just, for the hell of it, take some resistance checks. David, we don't really know. Let's see. The problem is, David, we don't know what rail to even put that on, so that's why I'm about to go through the list of rails and see which ones are misbehaving. So we do get all the way up to SO, so we've either got a current sense fault or we have a legitimate excess current, but I'd sooner say current sense fault. SMC bypass. Penov, did I mention before, is there any way to do that with the board out of the assembly? Figured maybe I can just hold SMC on off for 10 seconds. Jason, the metric system. Pfft. How dare you mock the metric system? Ow. Ow. Short the power on the pads and plug in MagSafe and release 5 seconds later. Yeah. Bit annoying to do. No kidding, hey? Very hard to do, in fact, with one hand. Okay, let's see how we go. Okay, is that pads? Come on. Nope. Yeah, same thing. I'll try it one more time. Tell me if I'm even sure on the right pads, aren't I? Yes, I am. Cool, I'm not completely. R5116 is, yeah, debug power button. Thought so. Yeah. So we'll just try it again in case I Didn't get them down properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 9, 10. Power up. And straight back down. So SMC bypass does not appear to have done anything. So no, Pernov. I'm at the point where I'm thinking, well, let's just swap the ISL and the TPS and see what happens. What do you think? Actually, I shouldn't even bother asking. I should just do it. Okay, Jim. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much, as always. And I will see you next time. Take care of yourself, eh? I know you do. Guess it's just habit to say that. Thinking of you. Yeah, Pernov, well, sometimes you just gotta do it and see. It's kind of like when, well, for me, I'm playing pool or snooker or whatever people want to call it. The one with the multicolour balls, not the professional stuff. Sometimes you don't really know how to do the shot you want, so you just take it. What was the last power on you did? It just stopped and thereabout shut down. That was the SMC bypass, which is behaving exactly the same as if I'm not doing an SMC bypass. Yeah, so we're going to swap our ISL and see what happens. We have now entered into the domain of the Please Bro world. I consider this a Please Bro world because really it's just a checklist of things to replace that are known to go faulty occasionally, even when you've got no other idea of what the hell's going on. Hope and poke mode, I like that. That's a good way to say it. Hope and poke. Or is that poke and hope? Where's the time anyway? It's not even midnight yet. The worst thing of all this is that I don't even have ice cream. That's right, folks. I have not even bought myself ice cream this week. I'm trying to be good. I haven't even done my finances that I need to get done for the bank loan. I've just been that flat out with everything that's been happening. Did see a nice place for about 300,000, which was way out of my price league. Would have been nice though. If I had like another $200,000, sure, no problem. But I don't. But yeah, it would have been a good buy. I think the only downside I was worried about with it is the internet might suck out where I saw it. No ice cream before you got your finances sorted. Well, just it was more a case of just I had a whole bunch of things pile up over the last week or two. So like yesterday marked the second week that I've had now waiting to. Oh man, I need some flux. I'm overdue to put the financial information into the bank. That's basically it. And you'd be thinking, oh well, that's okay. You can be saving up more deposit, but the trouble is, the nature of these things that have been coming up means we haven't been able to improve on our deposit situation. So we're sort of stuck at the. It's like I achieved the target I wanted, and then I stopped I've just stopped saving more. Teresa, get some ice cream and coffee. Huh? Coffee, yeah. I can't get anything right now, but tomorrow I will. It's not that I can't afford to get the ice cream, but thank you very much, by the way. Having someone force you to go get it means you do have to go the next day to go get it, so I will do that, Teresa. And we haven't even got the place yet, and already we're talking about what we can do in terms of cat rescue, animal rescue, things like that. And one thing we've identified is that while catch, neuter and release for male animals is comparatively, trivial. I mean, it's annoying, but it's not bad. Doing it for the females is actually exceptionally risky because you really want to hold on to them for at least a week so they've got a chance to heal. And you want to hold them in a room where they cannot jump up on things. It's got to be a very plain room, no ledges, nothing, just everything on the floor so that they don't tear their stitches or cause any trauma to themselves. And we're thinking what it would be a good idea is get something like a demountable, what do you call it, container, and have like 3 or 4 rooms built into that can hold an animal each, and it can hold them safely until such time that they are properly healed or sufficiently healed, and then you can let them out for the release. Because I would dare say that well, I don't know the statistics, but it wouldn't surprise me if 50 to 60% of the animals, the female animals that were desexed as part of the program, didn't live past their first or second week due to complications. It's just the brutal nature of it because of the nature of the surgery required. So yeah, we'd like to look at doing something like that. Yeah, I know, I can see that bridge. To provide a better chance. And then if it's not being done for catch, neuter, release, a lot of people don't get their female cats and dogs desexed because they themselves can't be at home, so they're worried that if I can't be home looking after the animal, I don't want to take the risk. And the vet clinic isn't in a position to be able to really do much. So I was thinking, well, we could offer as a service the ability to house those animals in a safe environment for the period of time that's required for people to then get their animals desexed, because a lot of the time it is household animals that have a house, a home, that are still still breeding uncontrollably because of the inconvenience of trying to desex the pet. So anyway, there's just ideas. Figure that's probably going to cost something like $20,000 to do properly. Proper isolation rooms, controlled environment, temperature with washable floors and walls, and then a station for the vet to come visit if they need to check up on things. Okay, let's see what happens now. Hey, Catherine. Oh, stray, that's brutal. Oh. Nope, not the ISL. Teresa, you're right. Rehome would be better. I mean, certainly that would be the other thing. That's another stage of our plan. We would actually like to acquire about 1.5 acres, 2 acres, and have a building on there in order to provide a more long-term holding. But as much as we want to be able to do these things, we just don't have that capability in it at the moment. Financially, it's just not possible. But we're trying. We're going to get there. Because yeah, we would much rather capture the animals, get them neutered, get them, health, fixed up in their health problems if they've got any, and then just sort of put them on a reserve, as it were. People can then come along and say, well, we'd like to foster one or have one for our own. Because a lot of the animals on the streets aren't strictly feral, as it were. They're ex-pets. Occasionally you will get first generation ones bred outside of a home or outside of human intervention, but you can still bring them around. Like the one we've got right now, he is probably a first, maybe second generation non-human litter, non-human interaction litter, and he is just loving human attention now, in spite of the brutal situation he just went through, being at the vet. So it is possible. They're not specifically, feral. It just takes time, and that's the trouble. It's time and effort, and a lot of people don't have that, and I don't begrudge people for not having that. We've all got things to do. But I would like to be able to put the effort into, if I can get the money, I'll be, put the time into it to make it happen. Alright, so we're just changing the TPS now as well, and if it's not that, then we're really gonna have to start using our brains, because I can change the SMC, and what do you know, it might be the SMC, but it's difficult to say. At least these are easy to change. So if we have no luck with these, then we go, alright, fine, we'll do the SMC. And even if it does turn out to be the SMC and everyone goes, well, we should have changed the SMC first, it's not really the way you want to go on everyday jobs, particularly when you can't explicitly determine the cause. Because otherwise you'll start changing SMCs, and they're not guaranteed to be the easiest chips to replace, and they're not, they're a one-off chip per board. You can't just go and buy 10 of them as a replacement, so you want to go for the things that you can just buy mass replacements for, and leave the SMC for when you basically have nothing else, or you can conclusively prove it is the SMC. People are just lucky with things like the TriStar chip that, well, they're plentiful and easy to get a hold of, so change the TriStar, nothing happens, no problem. ISL is kind of like a TriStar on the MacBooks. Yeah, I had a CPU 1.8, yeah. Exactly, Greg, yeah. I tried to do Catherine, you tried to do the same, but in Cartagena. Oh, I can't say it, my brain's gone, I'm in Colombia. And thank you for doing that, Catherine. Hopefully more people will do that, because, it is a problem globally, around the streets and things like that, and most of the time it just, if you can sort of get the first generation sorted out, you may be able to put a stop to the whole problem overall. Sort of trying to drastically reduce the numbers out there. Yes, I'm still on the same board. Platform reset L. I'll check platform reset L. Yeah, Catherine, I'm actually the same myself. I find, yeah, I mean, kittens are cute and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I do much prefer the more laid-back attitude of most older cats. I mean, I'm not talking senior cats. I'm just once they're sort of past 5 years, 4 to 5 years, that's when they start to get to the point where I really do find they settle down a bit more. The first couple of years, oh my goodness, they're always up to some mischief one way or another. Yeah, I can see the bridge there. Yeah, beyond the crazy stage, I know. I have lost so much sleep because of the crazy stage. Like, Loki was surprisingly difficult to control. He was constantly on the lookout for ways to just get out everywhere. I understand, but yeah, I really do like when they're out of that phase. They're pretty much like kids, yeah. Alrighty, here we go. So we've changed the TPS now. And if that doesn't work, then yeah, we'll check platform reset as well. No, TPS still no go. Okay, let's have a look at what platform reset L is going to be. Yes, our Houdini. Let's find a good spot for this. Oh, that's right. It's always that 5-legger on the side bottom right of the U, right in the middle of U. I mean, they're lovable and adorable and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, I certainly don't begrudge my time with them at that early stage, but it does wear you down unless you've got a perfectly good living quarters with it. We've got 0 on platform reset, but of course, oh wait, that's AP reset. That's not right. Oh no, that's it. Yep. How to do this and oh jeez. Okay, you hold just there. Let me set it so I record maximum, min max. Okay, maximum set. Is there a test pad for me to use on this? Yes, there is. It's that one there, Paul. Here we go. Oops. And yeah, we got up to 3.3, which is to be expected, and then it dropped away. So yeah, it jumped up to 3.3, then died away. Well, the only thing we've got left with the brainless options is the SMC itself. So here we go. At pumpkin time, of all the times, we're going to do the SMC. It's like I've got some sort of sadomastic streak through me or something. Leave the complicated stuff to the end. Hey Chris Long, how's it going, buddy? I'm pretty sure I was complimenting you earlier. I don't know why, but I was. I gotta be careful doing that. People might get the wrong idea. Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure, Chris. complimenting you? It's a bad sign, isn't it? Oh, I know what it was. Someone was asking if there were other people who did live streams of their work, and I said that you were one of them. Now I remember it. Yeah, I didn't specifically say you were good. I just said you were one. So yeah, you should feel happier about that now. First stage of insanity is complimenting you. You may well be right. That's a fantastic idea, Chris. You've really got good ideas tonight. Let's see, 5th down. Just going to check to see that we actually do have continuity going on here. Yeah, that's good. What about the other side? Ah, jeez. Q5500. I wanted to check to see if there was continuity from this pad here through to the other side, which is... yeah, I think this pad here. I guess one way you can sort of indirectly do that is you just check the diode mode or the resistance and see if they're the same. So we got 28243. It's going to shift a little bit because we're going to use a different ground. 282, yeah, that's the same. Well, Corey, I am working on that, but there's just so many other things in life at the moment that I haven't had a chance to do any of it. I've already got the infrastructure in my software to do it. It's a case of getting the data, and the data actually does exist for the most part. Just gotta put it in. I still would love to know why, when we changed this, something changed. Kind of makes me wonder whether I should have actually gone around and checked all those. Oh well. Too late, the SMC's off. Oh look, free capacitor. Damn you. It's supposed to come off as one piece. It's supposed to hold the universe together. It was supposed to bring balance to the SMC. Not break its legs apart. Ah. Easiest time to shave off all the trash from the sides of the SMC. Another board destined into the bin of I have no SMC. Seems mostly viable. Okay, let's get our bowling rig. And while I'm over here, I may as well delete another piece of trash out of this Windows setup. Let's see. Wild Tangent Games, yeah. QuickTime 7, yep, you're out of here. QuickTime 7, my god. What is this, the Middle Ages? Okay, that's our favourite little Dominion there. We're just going to clean this up. And then we'll flush out that whole area so that we can do our reballing. As you can see, lots of reballing's been done here before. As you can tell by all the little victims lying around. Like corpses on a battlefield. Actually, that's pretty terrible. Yeah, let's not think of it like that. Have you tried slowing the flow of balls from the Java, holding your thumb over the neck to restrict the flow? No, unfortunately that would generally not work that I can imagine, because basically what I've done is I've transferred some balls into a smaller container, and the smaller container pretty much does a good enough job for me. Okay, now we do the rinse, which you don't get to see. All I'm doing is just drowning the chip with isopropylene alcohol and rubbing it between my fingertips. I'm going to throw some more alcohol there. Need to... No, well, it's small enough now and it does a perfectly fine job. I'm not too concerned about the gluttony of wastage here. It makes me feel superior. I feel like a god. So look at all these lives that I have just ignored. Fear me. Can anyone tell me why in Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, the movie, that one scene with Gabrielle, or whatever her name is, the Elven Queen, is just so damn cheesy and different to everything else. It's almost like it was a throwback from the old cartoon movie thingamajig they used to have back in the 80s and 70s. So what happened to that? It just really did not come off right. I probably just lost half my subscribers there. How dare you insult that movie? It's like the movie was great, except for that bit. Well, maybe a few other things, but that was the main one. Was a reshoot? Seriously? What happened? Could they just not get it right? Just cleaning the stencil now. I thought Lord of the Rings was a life story. Oh, Jason. Freddie Mercury is awesome. It was the scene where what's his name? The scene where Bilbo hands the elf queen the ring or something like that, and she's in front of the pond or something. Anyway, all the lighting goes weird, and she goes into this big terror voice and is like, "You will have a queen, dark and terrible." And you're like, okay, that was a little weird. And that in itself wasn't so bad, but the way they actually shot the lighting and the effect was just... it didn't fit with the rest of the movie. At least I didn't think. It was just weird, okay? That's all. It was weird, like the second time you watch the movie and you're expecting Legolas to shoot out arrows at super speed and find that you went right past that scene because you didn't realise it was no longer that fast. And you're like, oh wait, that was the scene. Oh, it didn't seem so fast this time. Yep. Chris. Take an Ambien. Talk to me tomorrow. Hey, Sicky's in here. How's it going? Okay, we're using the 2-ball corner method and I've just fecked that up. I've just messed that up. I really don't want that kind of level of flux on this. Damn it, I really have messed this up. No, you gotta do it again, Paul. I don't want the flux on there, except for the corners. I haven't seen the Elton John one. You gotta love Freddie Mercury though. I mean, the guy was a avid cat man. And he would always be checking on his cats when he was on tour. Whoa, Paul. Check your hot air. Okay, 390 and 40 is even a bit high. 390 and 20 is about what we want. Crikey. That could have been a bad one. Okay, it's good. Good. 2 balls locked in. Now we put down the stencil. And we start the pour. Chris. Oh, that's unkind to Freddie. Yeah, it was ludicrous fly rate. Heading on to Played. Macbook Rhapsody. It was like, Mama, I killed a MacBook. Very, very frightening. Man, someone... Weird Al Yankovic, whatever his name is, could probably come up with something for that. But he probably won't, simply out of the extreme respect that he has. Oh! That hurt. PP bus and lightning, very, very frightening. I've got to think of something to replace Galileo. Somebody's going to do this now, I just know it. But yeah, Pedro had a good start there. I'm cheating here, I'm actually just trying to blow the damn balls off. Mostly because I'm really not in the mood to touch them. We're good. Give our flux on the ready. Come on, start deforming. Yeah, there we go. Let's drop a big snozzle of flux in. I hope you don't carry out too many balls there. I think we did good. And now we do the full reflow. That one there, no, it was there, just looked weird. As far as I can tell, they all look pretty good. Where did you get the SMC chip holder? Jason, it's I've had that question asked quite a lot, but it's actually just the generic chip holder out of one of these generic holders. That's all it is. Just happens to fit. Pure luck, nothing more. Damn it, Jason, you made me pause while I was meant to be taking this chip out, and fortunately it didn't stick to the SMC stencil. Yeah, Stockholm's still the same. Oops. Damn. Oop. Just give that a bit of a heat up. Okay. Pardon me. Perfect. We're close enough thereof. Small amount of flux. That's actually perhaps a little much. Just spread that around. Bravo, Paul. Yeah, great game. Yep, getting your whole 0 cents worth. Let's go. Shame I can't actually make something to show the hot air temperature settings either. The ideal stream with tech work is to have it completely filled with all the data that has not the board. It's like, oh, what's his seat height? What's the bench height? What's the lux level on the light? What's the SMC temperature? What's the hot air rate? What's the soldering iron rate? What tips he got in there? Have that all on the screen at once. And then you'll have this tiny little window in the middle of me actually doing work. And that will be the ultimate nerdgasm for a great many people. Okay, here comes the reflow, so long as, the flux dropping down. As long as we don't get this chip jumping off, there we go, that's the one we wanted, that's how we wanted it. Yeah, dance baby, dance. You can dance, you can dance, yep. Voice control, that'd be convenient. Let's see, did I put it on correctly? Oh, crud, I did put it on correctly. Just checking, testing you all. And yes, it is a 165 chip on a 165 board, unlike the other day. Yes, turn it up to turbo. Oops. We also have a... Yeah, Tony, you... people in the Northern Hemisphere have been gifted with that nice comet going through the system, late night, sort of like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, isn't it? Yeah, I know about that one. Unfortunately, I'm not in the Northern Hemisphere, which is a bit of an unfortunate rare time. Alright, here we go. Better show the board, else everyone's going to lose their nana. John, thank you very much. That would be very much appreciated. It was the SMC. It was the... Well, we've got to wait for the green light, though. If we get a green flash, I'll be done. Come on, give me a green... Whoa! No, we've got something different. It's rebooting now. What is going on with this machine? Something very weird. That is just downright weird. That was very weird. So did we just kill an SMC? It's got COVID-19. Hey, fixing things. I hope that didn't kill an SMC. Well, it seems like the behavior is consistent now. Just as it gets to the point where, just as it gets to the point where it should blink, it dies. What is going on? No, it's genuine MagSafe. EFI now. Question is, what killed? Why is the behavior changing? That's the other problem. Like, we heated up the EFI section of the board and the behavior changed. We've replaced the SMC and now that behavior's changed, but it loops back to the old behavior. Brain transplant time. Yeah, it was in board transplant. Yeah, it started working okay, then failed again. Yeah, there's an Albion. But notice Farnell this time we will get a full boot length. Like, it dies pretty much just when you expect the green USB to kick in. Yep. Yeah, charging port. Well, it could be. I'm not gonna not test that. I'll get another one. That is my normal to-go standard charge port, but we'll try another one. Nothing to say it hasn't been blown. It happens. Yeah, ISL got replaced, so did the TPS. They were all the things we did earlier to make it easier on us. Yep, there goes the CPU heat shield. Not that we need it. Current consumption is way too high. Something on the USB bus chip, maybe some. We had a look for it and we didn't see anything jump up. Sorry. The board's emitting nasties at me. Interesting. That went. Oh, don't tell me you've gone back to bad behavior now. Now it's doing that. This board is all over the place. We've most likely got something wrong with the CPU or the board itself, I think. This is becoming a rabbit hole. Let's go back to this one. What if... No, it's never been... PCH is certainly sounding poopy there. Yes, I do concur. Because none of this really even is... Yeah. Yeah, now it's back to the bad behavior again. Okay, what we could do is we apply a little bit of heat here and see what happens. I doubt it'd be EFI now. So it's, whoops, melty. Okay, bit of heat to the CPU. Melted it, which is bad. Come on. I'm gonna check its holes. Good. A little bit of heat is enough that it first shows the symptoms without going so far that you kill the CPU. if at first you kill the CPU, try again the next time on a new one. Or if at first you kill the CPU, you used a little bit more than a little bit. Yeah, but I wonder if I just ultrasonic it and try my luck. There's two balls touching down there, but they are on a common bus. And they're not touching. Yeah. Let me check the socket. Yeah, ultrasonic is definitely going to be an option. I'll just do a pin check on all those pins, see if any of them move. The reason why I'm checking this is because maybe every time when I remove the connector, maybe it's... Yeah, what's that piece of black junk in there? That wouldn't have stopped it. I'm sorry. And the answer appears to be no. Blast. Rust on the outer edges of that's pretty normal. Yeah, that's true, Florian. I mean, sometimes ultrasonicing it can genuinely clear the issue, but given that we didn't actually have any... Yeah, the only defect we had on this board, the actual corrosion defect, was this here. There was this resistor, and it was a little bit sus. It wasn't bad, but... Yeah. I wonder where our 342 is again. And I do wonder why it, at least the first couple of times, gave us some hope of the original behavior and switching over to, giving us a blinking green light back to just the rapid. Yeah, that's what I should do is I'll heat up... what is that? I'll heat up this and see what happens. I know, I'm just avoiding the inevitable. Sometimes you can find the area in the board in which the problem is. You just sort of like heat up small segments and until you get a behavior change. So I just don't know why it dramatically changed. Okay, that was... Alright, see how we heated up the clock chip? That area, and the behavior has changed. So instead of even coming up for a short moment, it just didn't come up at all, pretty much. Florian, up here in the tropics, it's even in winter, there's not much point trying to use freeze spray. Freeze spray is for people that have areas of land where it snows. Up here, we barely even get hail. So it could be that, or that. Or it could be in the board, or it could be something completely unrelated. But we're just going to go for the point at something in the air and toss it. Ew, I was naughty. That is not a good pad to rip, by the way. That's your 32 kilohertz line. And I don't think that has another pad. Oh yeah, where you go to other side of the board and then the CPU. Yep, don't want to mess that one up. Whoops. Yeah, that could have been very unfortunate. Try soldering when you keep getting quakes. I call them shakes. From too much coffee. I'm just going to go around and touch all of these and see if I move them in any way. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're just beating a dead horse here, but we're going to keep beating it until we're satisfied. Ah, you mongrel. There is this. It's just a bit of junk solder on it. No, Lewis, it wasn't the one I was trying to find. It was... no, just not. That was me just being a little bit careless with taking that chip off. The clock chip requires a considerable amount of heat for the area. And I got a little bit impatient, pulled it up too soon. Hey Lewis, Donafanto, yes, gotta keep beating it. Until the horse says nay. Wow, this is, talk about crappy pad preps. Yeah, we just want to put a small amount. That's a huge amount. Not going to put that much on. Otherwise I have to do the whole thing again. Yeah, that's plenty. I'm sticking to a tiny trolling resistor. Oh, Barry West, you may have that one yet. We'll see. The trouble is, will I endure long enough for that to be proven? Or will you forever go down in history as being the guy that was never proven nor disproven? Yeah, what I got 3 resistors there. I mean, it's certainly starting to get that annoying behavior of a thermally changing contact point. And you're right, you know, a resistor with its end cap missing or slightly detached from its body will give exactly that sort of behavior. That's why I go along with the little soldering knife and just touch the resistors. Yeah, try to redo their end caps and see how they behave. Come on. Everything else reflows except that. Such a nuisance. Did you test the resistor that was damaged? The 24/7 one you're talking about? No, I replaced it, but I didn't test the replacement. But I'd be very surprised if it's not 24/7. 27/4. Hey, I got my brain wrong. I thought it was 24/7. 27/4. My bad. Well, no wonder people didn't laugh at that joke, because it wasn't a joke, it was just me being an idiot. And then beyond here, the next set of replacements you start looking at is that chip, and then that chip, and then the whole damn board, and then your own brain because you're driven mad. Start replacing suspicious stuff. That's the trouble. There is no suspicious stuff. That one resistor was the only suspicious thing we had. Everything else has been speculation. It's staying on. Could it be in the clock? Please be in the clock chip. Nope, no such luck. And back to 30, and it comes back up again. It momentarily jumps up. That's a new behavior, but it's weird. God damn. I think I'm just going to call this one and get a replacement board for it. And see, now it just straight away does that. I could check to see what SMC on off is. Crystal, well, we'll get in 32 kilohertz, and given that that's just a divided, unless it's run internally. SMC on off L. Just to see, I mean, what if it's... But then that shouldn't even boot, if that was the case. Yeah, well, the Diablo stream wasn't exactly entertainment for most people. It's like, what's he doing playing Diablo for? It's not even It's not even, Dota 2. The 25 megahertz one. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, SMC on FL is not at fault. You're talking about that one there. I guess it depends. So that's what I was wondering, is like, is the 32 kilohertz clock signal derived from that internally by a divider? And if it is, then I'd be very surprised if that was out. But hey, we'll do it. Because usually for RTC, real-time clock, it has to be crystal based. Let's put some. Not to mention crystals hate being swapped around. Yeah, crystals hate being cooked. Unless they're temperature controlled. In which case they wouldn't be exactly the right temperature. And even then they age slightly. What? The chip next to the clock bottom right pin looks missing. 3 sold on it. What? Not sure what you... No, it's just the flux, that's all. Get off it. Yeah, it's just the flux giving the illusion. I have lost my solder strip. Damn it. Universe's way of telling me I should be quitting. I don't know. Is the current draw high for initial boot? Depends on how far into initial boot you're talking. The very, very first moment it turns on, it's not. It's only once it gets up and running and it gets to the SO state. There is so much damned hair over everything here, it's disgusting. This is why do not have carpet in your workshops, okay? I mean, carpet isn't the primary reason this is happening, but it certainly makes it bad anyway. Yep, gobbled up by carpet of doom. I may as well replace this thing too. Then we'll never know for sure what it was that fixed it. I'm just piling up all the chips that I've replaced that didn't need replacing so that I've got a stock of pre-removed chips already. Unfortunately I don't have any trouble with static here. My wife, on the other hand, is terrible when it comes to static. She can zap the cats from the halfway across the room. She's that bad. When it comes to winter, our cats run from my wife. And while we wait for it to cool down, we look around. and hope that we stumble across something that will illuminate to us what's been going wrong all this time. We search vainly. Ow, that's hot. Yeah, I find when it comes to just doing the first sit down with parts being transferred, that just stealing a bit of flux from whatever's been blown off to the side works perfectly well. Hey, get off. Green, orange. $450. It was showing proper current. It was at 450, and then it comes back and tries at 900. That is weird. I am almost stumped by this board. Damn it. What is going on? No, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm at the point where I'm just going to be making mistakes. DDR regulator. What? Oh, that's what that was that we changed, I think. No, it wasn't. Let me find out. U6101. SSPI debug connector gate. PV342. So what do you want me to heat? You want me to heat the 342? No, you're right about that. Yeah, no, well, it's roughly in the area. It's good enough, I suppose. Let's give it a shot. Maybe the regulator's effed up in the first place. Okay, 342 reg has had a dose of warmth. I should actually check to see what happens to 342 throughout the process. It doesn't budge, but it is still reading a little high. I mean, I know 20 millivolts is not a lot, but yeah, I noticed that, Corey. Notice though, I don't know if it shows up on the display, but the first time is 400, so it looks roughly about, it should really be about 600 and then come down to 400. But then the second time when it flashes on for an instant, that's when it hits 900. Oh, great, we didn't know what chip it was. We have to review the video and find out. So 900. Now it's not even doing that. Okay, let me just heat up 342 again. That was slightly different again. Elite Knights production. Quick question. Should be fine that I got cyanosilicate in the GPU in this image. Given that it's generally non-conductive that I'm aware of, yeah, I can't see any real problem with that happening. And we often use it to hold things, so I think it should be okay. Yeah, I'm really starting to think this is an internal or some sort of CPU, GPU issue. Because none of this is making a lot of sense. It's more consistently changing based on me heating the board than it is on what I've changed. And thank you for the $5, Elite Night Productions. Hope goes well with the with your super glue GPU. What happened there? Did you use the super runny stuff and it just ran crazy? Okay, so that's within spec. That should be 200. This one I think is 348 or something. Yeah, 349. It's within spec. Stockholm's I did, yes. I couldn't directly test it simply because they're on the opposite side of the board. But what I did is I looked at the diode mode reading and they were pretty much within 1 millivolt of each other. So from my point of view, that means you got this. So you got to have continuity there, unless that was just a really bad bit of coincidence from the universe, which wouldn't surprise me either. I'm going to change the 42 reg simply because I want to see if it drops down to 342 proper. Barry West, unfortunately, I'm just not. We didn't see anything. It's the CPU that's sucking up the extra power by the looks of it. Like when we're hitting 900, it's the CPU using up that power, as opposed to something else. So unfortunately, we're kind of stuffed. I know there's a bridge on the other parts down here on the other board, just in case people are about to warn me. I have no reason to believe this will change anything, but I'm kind of curious. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Guess I better get rid of that short before I forget, and then something really bad could happen. I'm not sure what those two lines are, but they're not meant to be together. Well, now I got nothing. Seriously? $2.9. It's kind of weird. Let me try to reinstall that again. Maybe I bumped something, or maybe it's not sitting on all the pads, or what? That 2.9, that's a little weird. I don't think I flipped it upside down that I'm aware of. Oh, always running out of flux. And now we've picked up random hairs. That's really good. That's excellent. At least with this chip we usually can tell if we're the right way up, because yep, see how it's got the bevel on the one end? And the bevel matches there. Yeah, 2.9, that's odd. Hey my goggles, do you use any particular corrosion cleaning chemical? I got some deoxit from J-Carb, it's about to run out. Usually we just use, or it depends in what application you're using it. Like for circuit board stuff like we're doing here, I use just flux. Use flux, heat it up, and the flux does the job of chewing away at corrosion. But if it's things like contacts and points and things like that, then I just use contact cleaner. Okay, let's see how we go now. That must have just been badly installed, and that's down and out already. Let's have a look at what our 342 is. Okay, the fact that they're both yeah, okay, 344 is probably about right on this, because that divider pair, the one resistor, the 378 or whatever it was a little further off the normal main value that you're expecting. It's still within spec, but it was a little off, so 344 would be what to expect. Something around the... Yeah, we're just heating up the bias area again. We didn't get our full behavior. TPS. It seems stubborn now. ISL. The fault seems stubborn. Yeah, fixing things, I'm sort of thinking that. Q5830. Oops. Cycle the power supply, but give it a few seconds. Actually, what you need to do is you turn it off, plug it in. That drains any last little smidges out of it. Yeah, we're still green now. Bloody hell. Okay, so when we've changed this 342 section, it seems like it may have actually forced it back. So look, but yeah, the more this is really, really getting annoying. It could be so many things. Q5830. CPU proximity heat. Yeah, that's a possibility, you know, maybe the whole thing's been thrown out by that. Well, not that time. Got another SMC. Yeah, I do, but the behavior is basically still the same, so I'm disinclined to blame it. Come here, temperature sensor, just in case you're a wonky. Unlikely, but just in case. Get off. Well, so much for me getting to the other part of tonight, which was the Nintendo Switch. That might have actually been successful. Do you need new 13-inch 2015 Pro screens, whole assemblies, Stockholms? What have you got a price on them? I mean, it's always good to have a couple handy because, yeah, I mean, they get smashed or they die or whatever. Mention that jumped up to 230 and died. Hey, Michael Chun. Long, tiring, and we are losing our mind here a little bit. Now it doesn't even go to SO state. Okay. Oh, that's because that broke off. It'd be funny if that was our fault all along. Hey, Doug Maxey. Trollboard, definitely Digikey. No. None of this makes sense. Yeah, it's true, Farnell, you're right. No, I think what I'll do is tomorrow I'll ultrasonic it and see, but I'd say this is pretty much... I don't trust it now. The behavior is very strange. Maybe it's something obvious I'm missing, I don't know, but right now I think it's time for me to take the gloves off and go retire for the night. We're already 1:15, and I've got other work I've got to get done in the morning. So yeah, we're just going to leave it like that. Leave the corpse on the desk to remind us of our failure for tonight when I get back tomorrow morning. It's probably a circuit board fault of some sort. Something around this area here has gone wonky, because when we changed any of these sort of things, we did get behaviors switching back and forth, but it would do it regardless of the actual part that we changed, pretty much. Like, it wouldn't matter whether we changed the 342 regulator or the BIOS or the crystal or anything, it would do the change. So it's more and more looking like it's either a part that's got a end cap or a pad that's been broken away that we haven't seen, or it's an internal layer trace that's just fatigued away or whatever. Yeah, so I can't tell. Alright, well, I appreciate you all sticking around for this very long stream that got us nowhere, but yeah, sometimes it's like that. And even with a 1466, thought it was going to be an easy one, didn't turn out that way. So hopefully your days are all better. In the meantime, I'm going to go and relax, and I will try again tomorrow, because, well, what else are you going to do? Cry in a corner? You can do that for a little bit. But once you're done with that, you need to get back to work, because that's the only way you're going to get forward. So you all have a good day. I'll see you later.